Welcome to episode 27 of the Wheelhouse, the delirious episode starring Andrew O. I'm delirious because I've got that 1 hour jet lag going on, pretty bad. I just flew in to Maryland, back from Dallas. I'm back from those elsewhere reshoots. If you don't know, every 2 years, SMU Film Department puts on a production for a feature-length film, all run by students. Me being a student, I was invited to go, and I went, and I did all them sound mixins, and all the sound, everything, and yeah, it was real tough. Long hours, weather was not being nice. It rained when you didn't want it to. It was super hot all the time. I didn't get sunburn. I got all them sun protection, got my cool safari hat, my sunglasses, my sunscreen, my little arm protector things, I don't know what they're called, my cooling towel, my light clothes. I was ready to go. Still not fun. It was like high 90s, no shade, felt like 100. But we got what we needed. Of course, we run into all the expected and usual problems, obstacles in filmmaking. It's inevitable. Can't do nothing about it. Just gotta roll with it. Depending on how you roll with it, determines the success of any endeavor, creative endeavor, such as this one. So flew out. My flight in Dallas departed at 5:50 Central Time. Flew over another 3 hour. I'm used to these 3 hour trips. I don't know if they feel shorter, but they don't bother me as much. Of course, I don't look forward to it. I don't look forward to the experience of flying in general. I'm not afraid. Just it's not fun. It's like you just sit with people you don't know, people that you might die with, and I don't know. They're strangers, and I don't want to die with these people. But this one wasn't so bad because I got the aisle seat. Someone was already in the window seat when I got there. And, the flight attendants were like, by the end, they were like, get any empty seat you can. It's a full flight, And you see the people walking down the aisle and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that group of 3 to 4 people, they look like a good group of people. I wouldn't mind them sitting next to me. And then, you got some other people that are like, oh, you're a big group or you got a baby, I don't know if I'm cool with, this splitting up a family or having a crying baby next to me, But lo and behold, empty seat for the whole flight, empty middle seat. So lucky. And I think that's only happened to me one at a time, and it's like pretty nice to spread your legs. And my back didn't hurt, because usually when someone is in the middle seat, I try to respect their space, kind of angle my body a little bit. And it hurts my back after an hour and a half, but nope, no back problems this time. Just got off the plane, got driven home by my parents, and now I'm podcasting. It's past midnight, and I'm pretty tired, but I gotta do this because I'm dedicated. So I got some more stuff to talk about, including what do my notes say? Oh, school is approaching. In parentheses, it's August. Yes, it is August. Which implies that July is over. Yeah, man, I can't believe in about 2 weeks I'll be back in Dallas again. Another 3 hour flight for good, in a sense. I'm looking forward to it. Got a cool little apartment deal going on at Daniel House. So it's technically still under SMU housing, but it's a little more upscale in the sense that it's not a dorm, I guess. It's a relatively old building. I think it's like 10 years old. I don't know. But it's been renovated, I think maybe once. Actually, I have no idea what I'm going to expect. I only passed by that place once, and all I know is that it's near all the frat houses. So I've never been inside. It could just be, my room could be the size of the little bunker under the stairs that Harry Potter lived in. Until he got whisked away by them wizards, which I don't think is going to happen to me, so hopefully it's not that size, closet size. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some films made, got some ideas going. A lot of shorts. Many ideas for shorts. I'm working on one now, but I also got an idea for a feature-length film. And that's going to be a really big project. And I feel like I need a lot of time to in generating ideas and organizing them before I could get cracking on that. But I am actually, it's weird. Elementary school, middle school, I think even high school, I just always dreaded whenever a break ended. Just going to school in general whenever a break ended, whenever the weekend ended, whenever the night ended, because I knew that I had to go to school again. But yeah, it's like I want to get out there again, which is a feeling I never thought I'd have. I always thought, I was more of a recluse, more reticent to not put myself out in any major social situation that could be conducive to awkwardness or any discomfort at all. But now I'm pretty okay with it. I'm happy about that. Anyway, if you don't know how this show works, this is a weird episode to be listening to, because like I said, I'm kind of delirious. I'm actually podcasting with my eyes closed right now, which I don't know why I'm doing this. I guess I'm just so tired that half my brain just wants to go to sleep as I speak. But hopefully I'll stay up long enough to get through this. You'll notice if I don't, because there'll be about a 30-minute block of silence, which I advise you skip over. Every week there's a media recommendation. It could be something like a book or a movie, a TV show, an album, a video game, a graphic novel, and in a couple weeks, something that I would never expect I would do for the show. Now that got you at the edge of your seat. And then that week I go and do that thing, whatever it may be, come back and review it. This week, talking about an album. And again, let me preface this. I am a little delirious. I have notes written. I always have notes written. Usually what I do is, let's say, for example, a movie. I would take notes as I watched the movie. And then I would go back maybe the day later and organize them. Have like a, opening statement, my general feeling, break it down into, story, characters, technical content, all that. I didn't do that for this one. So all my notes are scattered, and this conversation will be scattered, just to warn you. I feel like even if I had organized them, I would just be all over the place anyway. So I'll do my best. But what we're talking about now is the album Reach for the Sun by the band The Dangerous Summer, which is no longer in existence. R.I.P. It's their debut album. Came out May 5th, 2009. It's like alternative rock with a sprinkling of pop punk and emo thrown in there. And the guy recommended this, Jacob, said it's his favorite album of all time. And I said, I'll try not to hate it. And he said, if I hated it, I would, his heart will be broken. Well, Jacob, I do not hate this album, but I do not like this album. I'm sorry. I really wanted to like it. It started off at a place where, this is the first couple songs. Okay, they're all right. Maybe I'll build something greater. I'm not in love with it by the first song or first note. But upon listening to it a second time, I just did not care for it. Again, I'm sorry. And I shall elaborate. But the first thing is something I do like, is the lead singer. And I got his name here. It's AJ Perdomo, I think. I like his voice. It's sort of both personable and powerful, and like intimate and commanding. It feels like he sounds like a nice guy, but also he's got that. He get kind of growly and raspy and yell, get loud when he needs to, but still not be so standoffish. Now on to the bad things. I'm sorry. That was the end of my pro list. Time for the con list. Them lyrics. I told you there's a sprinkling of emo in there. when it comes to lyrics, man, it's all emo. So saccharine. It's a lot of YA brooding that's sort of uninteresting and at times a little grating. I have some. Oh well, I guess Oh, I'm sorry. I knocked over something because I'm delirious. I sort of boiled down all the content, lyrical content of the songs into the main singer being, I'm sad, I'm lost, I'm going crazy, and I'm lying in my bed. But you anonymous girl of my dreams, keep me going. And then for that last part with the girl, I have a quote, an excerpt from one of the songs, like, I belong to you until I die. Yeah. I have some other excerpts for some of the songs. Let's see. Again, I don't know exactly which songs these come from because they all kind of bunted together, which is a point I'll get to later. Here's a line. I'm too stained. Let me start over. I'm too stained from all the negativity, from all the people in my way. Yeah, the system really holding them down. Another one. The world can take control, but don't ever lose your heart. Yes, I guess that's true, but I suppose there's a more elegant way of conveying that. Another one. Those long confusing hours with my mind turned on. What does it mean when your mind is turned on? Like sexually aroused, or just actively, thinking, or just having the most basic cognitive ability? Yeah, that's another sort of phrasing that appears all the time, sort of like, there's so much in my head, or all the thoughts in my mind, It honestly became a little obnoxious how frequent that appeared. And yeah, just in general, the sentiment there was nothing new. And from song to song, it was sort of a rehash on similar ideas of loneliness and ostracism, paired with sort of optimism about getting a girl and a slight carpe diem, theme as well. But it was not done intact or tactfully. Well, I don't know. Maybe both. I don't know what I'm thinking right now. Anyway, musically, all the songs sound the same. I'm sorry, it's something we've mentioned before, but it's really, really stuck out here. I have no favorite songs or no least favorite songs because they're all kind of, to me, I even did this little trick, like, all right, I'm in the middle of a song and I stop and think, like, consciously, like, compare this to the song that just played before. How is it different? Or like, I'm listening to this verse and what is the sort of melody that comes up in the chorus next? And it's like, it's all interchangeable. You could play any verse and chorus from any of the songs and mismatch them because they're all, like, structurally are so similar. Like, structurally, it's just like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Nothing inherently wrong in that form. But when the verses are melodically sort of lazy, the choruses are unimpressive generally, and the bridge usually always relies on any form of vocal echo or harmony, it's a structure that it wears thin very, very fast. And it's a shame because there are occasional pre-choruses or riffs or other small musical elements that feel like they're going to culminate into something new, but they usually just evolve into the same old style. Kind of bums me out. And again, it bums me out that I don't like this album in general because I wanted to. I like the lead vocals and they have a sound that is a good foundation. It's just that that's all it is, basically. And there's not much variation on it. I have another note here. Very mall-like, in a sense that, this is a song that would play well in a mall. And like, I'm walking in the mall, or in the store in a mall, and a song comes on, I'm like, this is a nice little tune. And then I finish paying for whatever I'm buying, and I walk out, and then don't think about it, or I just wait until, like, I don't know, a Taylor Swift song comes out. Yeah, I think the last thing in my mess of notes is oh yeah, so I said no favorites, no least favorites, but I just had to bring the song up because it's so interesting. The last song of the album is called Never Feel Alone. Here, let me read to you some of the lines in this song. So here's the part where I move closer to you. Do you feel me when I touch you? Do I really lack the skills to turn you off? Am I wrong, or is this really what you want to happen, when all I want to do is have this? I don't know about you, but I honestly got a little rapey vibe going on, which, yeah, a little bit of shock to me. And I honestly think it was not meant to be interpreted in that fashion. But that just is a testament how sort of the songwriting is a little rudimentary and underdeveloped and sort of just kind of impotent in a way. Again, because that's a shame as well, because the songwriting just is not compatible with just there's a lot of energy to the songs. It's a rock band, you play rock songs, but what they're rocking about is not very rocking. Yes, Jacob, again, I'm sorry. Oh well, I guess I didn't hate the album, so I don't know if your heart's all the way broken. Maybe it's starting to crack. And I also am sorry because I am a little out of it mentally. I may not have done it, presented my criticisms in the most graceful of ways. But we shall both move on with our lives until we die. I think that's something we can both agree upon. Anyway, it is now time for the next segment of the show, Who is Bruce Springsteen, which is coming to a close once the summer ends, because I'm back in Dallas for good. We will do something different, maybe. Still thinking about different things and what direction the show wants to go in. But rest assured, the show will go on. And now this part starts now. I am here, and I am very tired, but I am recording with Jacob Estrada for another edition of Who is Bruce Springsteen. How are you doing? Are you? Yeah, you don't sound tired at all compared to me.
No, I'm not. Got back from Miami the other day, and I've spent the last 2 days doing very little other than streaming. So, yeah, I'm pretty well rested. Sorry.
Are you also pumped because of what we're talking about today?
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
The album we're talking about is Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So much to say, but let us begin with your thoughts, Jacob. What did you think of Thriller?
Well, obviously I'd heard the song Thriller before. The only other song in the album I was familiar with was Beat It.
Yeah.
I'd also seen the John Landis Thriller music video. As far as the title song itself, Thriller, I mean, what can I really say other than it's Thriller? Everyone loves Thriller. It's just a really super fun song all around. It's not deep or meaningful, but it doesn't need to be. The music video is just hilarious, watching Michael Jackson turn into a fucking werewolf. So yeah, about that. Was the extent of my knowledge on the album before going in.
But then you went in and listened to all 9 songs.
Yeah.
And what did you think?
Well, I'm gonna say my favorite song right off the bat is still "Beat It." It's just the rhythm is so exciting, and it's a song that really gets you pumped. Like the lyrics, like you don't want to be a boy, don't want to be a man, you want to stay alive, better do what you can, or they'll kick you, they'll beat you, then they'll tell you it's fair. It's like, it sounds like it just makes me think of like it kind of makes me think of an underdog character like Rocky Balboa.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Well,
sounds like
yeah. The music video is a little different though. It's actually like two rival gangs going
really.
at each other, like
Oh
West Side
damn,
Story.
that is
Yeah,
not that is not how I envisioned it at all.
yeah.
Wow, I need to check out that music video then.
Yeah, and the actual like kind of intent of the song is like avoid violence. You know, there are better ways to like
Wow,
deal with
I completely
problems.
misinterpreted that then.
Yeah, it's like don't like beat up some dude, just beat it, get out of there, and avoid conflict, kind of.
Wow,
Yeah,
damn, it's such an exciting song to listen to.
yeah. The guitar riff is so
Oh, dude, I
recognizable,
loved the guitar. And that was one of the things I wrote down was the guitar solo was
and the guitar solo.
yeah.
Yeah, the solo.
Yeah, it
You,
was so
you know who
exciting.
did that?
No, I do not.
Eddie Van Halen. He came
Oh,
in. They asked him to do it. He was like, "Yeah." Oh, at first Quincy Jones, the producer, called up. Was like, "Hey, this is Quincy Jones. Would you like to do a solo with Michael Jackson?" And like he called 3 times, but Eddie Van Halen kept on like hanging up because he thought it was a prank call. But eventually they got around. And he was like really happy and went in and did it. And I actually think he did it for free, which is unheard
Wow.
of. Yeah,
Well, I guess when you're already rich, I don't know.
sure.
But still, damn.
So you love Beat It, but still,
Yeah,
I
absolutely
want
did.
to.
Even
I
though
want
I
to.
apparently completely misinterpreted that song,
That's
it's
fine.
still my favorite song in the album.
Yeah, but I still want like an overall opinion kind of before we get a little more specific about
Yeah, no, of
Thriller.
course.
Yeah.
Another song I really liked was "The Girl Is Mine." Compared to a lot of the other songs on the album, it was really calm. It was very relaxed, and the other Paul McCartney was on the album. I mean, what was on the song? Obviously, I didn't realize it was Paul McCartney at first. I was just like, "Wow, I really like this."
This dude.
Yeah, this dude, whoever he is, like, his vocals were really good. Who is this person who's featured? I was like, "Oh, holy shit, that's Paul McCartney."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was a really nice song to listen to. It had a much calmer and more like it had a more easygoing beat to it, and I like how at the end it ended with just dialogue between Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. I thought that was cute. I thought that was pretty cool.
You think it's cute, but I think it's pretty darn goofy. It's actually it actually might be my least favorite song on the album because
Really?
it's so sappy, you know.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
But I mean, with all the songs on this album, none of them are like, at least to me, none of them are super deep or meaningful. They feels to me like they're just all meant to be fun, and that's my overall impression of the album. Is it's very fun to listen to. It's thoroughly enjoyable.
So you liked it?
Yeah, I did.
Did you like it a lot?
I liked it a lot. I'll still say my 3 favorite albums so far are still What's Going On, Led Zeppelin 4, and the Pink Floyd album.
All right. So this didn't beat it out. Oh well.
No, it did not.
Cool. Now let me give you a little history about the Thriller and the Michael Jackson. Thriller is the 6th album by the King of Pop himself, Michael Jackson, released November 30th, 1982. Michael Jackson was born on August 29th, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. He was the 8th child out of 10. His musical career began in 1964 when Michael and his brother Marlon joined brothers Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine in what would become the Jackson 5, which you know of. Of important note is the role Michael's father, Joe Jackson, played in their development. He really dictated completely his son's musical career and infamously beat them during rehearsals whenever they got anything wrong. And this
I heard of that actually.
Yeah. This led to Michael's, I call it like, it's both a crucial and crippling perfectionism, sort of in his adult career. Also, like his childlike demeanor and loneliness kind of stemmed from that problem. So it's kind of like, it's just sort of interesting to think about, like, would he have become as great a musician if he didn't go through that horrible experience? I'm sure, like, yeah, he's still a musical prodigy. He still would have succeeded, but would he have to this level? It's kind of like a interesting moral quandary in a sense. Anyway, Jackson 5, they gained recognition with a few big hits, and Michael was seen as a musical prodigy. In 1972, Michael embarked on a solo career, eventually releasing 4 albums with Motown. Then in 75, the Jackson 5 moved to Epic Records, relabeling themselves as simply the Jacksons, and Michael became the band's lead songwriter. But Michael Jackson's big breakthrough came in 1979 with the release of his album Off the Wall. It's co-produced with legendary producer Quincy Jones. And Michael established himself as a solo artist, moved away from the bubblegum pop of his early years, and received critical and commercial praise for the release. Yet, from Michael's perspective, it wasn't good enough, and he endeavored to actually become the biggest star in the industry. He thought that actually Off the Wall had underperformed and that he felt he was undervalued, in the realm of music. And in one aspect, it is sort of a race thing also, because it's sort of hard for him to break through in a sense because, he was black. But we'll touch up on that again in a bit. But to achieve this goal, to become the biggest star ever, he teamed up again with Quincy Jones and began working on his next album at Westlake Recording Studios in LA. They ended up recording around 30 songs, but selected only 9 that became Thriller. Michael wrote 4 of the songs: Wanna Be Starting Something, The Girl Is Mine, featuring Paul McCartney, Beat It, and Billie Jean. And then you got Rod Temperton, who wrote songs on Off the Wall as well. For Thriller, he wrote 3 songs, Baby Be Mine, The Lady in My Life, and the mega hit itself, Thriller. Between the 9 songs, you have a range of pop, post-disco, rock and funk. Its release, obviously, had a monumental impact in the world, kind of. It had 7 singles. They were all hits. It sold 1 million copies per week at its height, and it is now the greatest selling album of all time with 65 million copies. It was well received by critics and earned an unprecedented 8 Grammy Awards in 1984. Michael Jackson had become the greatest music icon of his time. The other very important note about Thriller are the music videos, which, of course, Thriller being the most famous, but also you got music videos for Billie Jean and Beat It. And they all 3 aired on MTV. And at the time, MTV was a fledgling television program, and Michael's videos sort of propelled them into the mainstream. But for a long time, MTV actually resisted showing content from black artists and focused on mainly rock music. But after pressure from Michael's label, MTV yielded and put Michael's videos on heavy rotation, not only boosting Michael's fame, but also MTV itself. And it was sort of an avenue in sort of garnering racial equality, in the music industry. So very important in that aspect. And also, as for music videos himself, Michael had transformed them into sort of a actual artistic form, that incorporated not only the song, but visuals, dance, theatrics, storytelling, in a way that could also just promote the album itself. He was really the one that really started that trend. And yeah, going back and listening to it, I think the album is pretty awesome. Well, it was interesting because going back and listening to the full album, Thriller was not one of my top favorite songs on the album. I like quite a few songs more than Thriller, but when I went back and watched the music video, it's a whole nother experience because Michael Jackson is not just a singer. He's a dancer, a performer.
Yeah, he's charismatic.
Yeah, watching that video, I had a smile on my face for the whole time because it was just so much fun. Not only with the story, but just Michael's charisma. It's just so commanding.
I know, even before the actual song starts, and it's just the actual acting between him and whoever the girl is.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting in the car, and he's like, "I got a secret to tell you," and it's really campy and it's just hilarious, but you just love watching him. And then he turns into a werewolf, and it just goes insane.
Yeah, when he sings and dances, it's so mesmerizing, as well as the costume, and usually when it's a concert, all the lighting and backdrop, it's a whole package. And in that sense, it's that made me appreciate the song a lot more. But yeah, there is not a song I don't like. Like I said, probably my least favorite is The Girl Is Mine because it is a little too sappy for me. Billie Jean is actually my favorite song. And it's funny you mentioned how you think overall it has a fun spirit. And I guess overall it does, but it actually gets a little mysterious and maybe a little bit, more deep in some of the songs. Like Billie Jean is sort of there's two main theories that are kind of similar, but it's kind of based on the idea
Yeah,
that
I read something. It was about like it was based off some groupies or something.
yeah. So apparently, well, according to Michael, I think he said how when he was with the Jackson 5, how they called their groupies Billie Jean, people who were just like almost stalked them kind of. But then according to Quincy Jones, he said that Michael told him that Billie Jean was actually based off this woman who had confronted Michael Jackson and told him that he was the father of one of her twins, which doesn't make any sense at all. But either way you put it, there is that, personal aspect there. And it is a little more dark in that sense. Wanna Be Starting Something is kind of like that too, because it's about gossip and rumors and, having an image or identity that is sort of false. And that was something that he had been battling and was kind of depressed about in his career. So there's a little more depth there. Overall, yeah, it's still a pop album, and it's still like feel good overall. But definitely compared to something like Off the Wall in his previous career, he was developing a more complex sort of. His content was getting a little bit more complex. The other note I have is Michael Jackson singing, so great. I remember
his voice is just wonderful.
Yeah,
it's intoxicating.
Yeah, I remember one time I was walking through a mall and there was a Michael Jackson song playing because his voice is so clear and piercing and recognizable. I heard his voice before I even heard like any of the instrumentals of the song because it just carries so far. It's like, yep, that's MJ. It's just, he's one of the greatest singers. Yeah, I think that's all I have as far as Thriller goes. Do you have any more comments on the Thriller?
About some songs individually, like I noticed on PYT it did this weird thing at the end where like it sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Like there's this vocal that gets super high pitched and unrecognizable. I don't know if you can tell me anything about that song.
I think he might have done that for some other songs on there as well. Like he sort of pitch shifts his voice so it's like really high.
Yeah, like it sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, I think he did that on Wanna Be Starting Something and some other ones too. Which is interesting because I noticed that Prince does that as well, but I was kind of confused who did it first. But I would assume Michael did it first because he paved the way for sort of Prince and other black artists to get more attention and be more experimental. But I don't know what do you want me to say? Like that was just like an artistic choice, and I think it.
No, that was just
fine.
Sorry, that was just like this thing I made a note of off the side because I thought it sounded really weird.
Oh. Well.
But anyway, no, I don't. I mean, my final thoughts are what I've already said. The album's just really fun to listen to, and yeah, Billie Jean and some of the other ones are a little bit deeper, but I mean, I can't really say much more other than I just really like the album, and I'm definitely going to be listening to other Michael Jackson albums.
Cool. Off the Wall. That's where you should go next. That album's really cool. And I should revisit it as well. I don't know it as well. So, anyway, Jacob, what are your feelings toward the hip-hop?
I don't listen to a lot of hip-hop. I've heard some basic hip-hop and rap songs that are just, like, really popular. I've heard little bit of Kendrick Lamar and Eminem, obviously. I know the next album is Public Enemy, and the only song...
Spoilers!
Spoiler
That's my
alert.
job
Sorry.
to say that.
Damn. Sorry. But yeah, the only song of theirs I've heard is Fight the Power.
Sure. But, I don't think that song's on this album. But, anyway, the next album we're talking about is It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. First off, that album title is long, but it's so good.
Epic.
Yeah, it is epic. That's a great word. It is the second album from Public Enemy, released June 28th, 1988. Interesting. The tag team of MC Chuck D and hype man Flavor Flav set out to make the hip-hop version of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, and they pulled it off with its heavy social and political commentary, relentless lyricism and dope beats. Many consider It Takes a Million It Takes a Nation as the greatest hip hop album of all time, and that's one of the greatest albums, period. This is our first hip hop album we're doing for this segment. I remember Gus and I, rest in peace, Gus, saying, maybe we should have like one representative hip hop album on here, and it was sort of like, no question, you gotta go with It Takes a Nation. And yeah, like I've said this before, but it's not an album I'm very familiar with. I have listened to it a couple times through, but I'm so excited to revisit it. And yeah, this is, I think I mentioned to you before, like some advice, just general advice listening to music, but I think this is more, I don't know if important is the right word, but more relevant, I guess, is that when you listen to this first time, just listen to it. Don't worry about, if you could hear all the lyrics or don't read through, but definitely this is something you, on a second or third listening, you want to read through with the actual lyrics with you. So, yeah. Cool. Public Enemy. Here we go. Why are you so quiet? Why are you making me talk all the time? I'm the one with no energy, and you're like...
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm under pressure. I was trying to think of like something witty to end the episode on, but I froze, and then...
You failed.
Damn it.
Failed.
I'm sorry, Andrew. I let you down.
All right. Maybe next week...
Gus and Sterling are rolling over in their graves right now.
Yeah. This week, listen to Text Nation. Also, maybe you could think ahead for some witty rejoinder for the next time we talk.
I'll do some Google searches.
Okay. All right. Thanks again, Jacob, and I'll talk to you in a week.
Thank you.
All right. That was that part. And now it's time for the next part where we play the next recommendation. And it is a movie. You know what? I think I already talked about all this in the recording, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it and stop talking. I'm here with Lawrence, who is going to recommend something else for the show. You are officially the first person to recommend something twice for the Wheelhouse, so good on you.
Yeah.
I guess.
Have you been... How many... So you basically recorded like a bunch of recommendations before the end of the semester, right?
Yes, and I stocked up. But I am running... Well, I've run out of those, so I've been getting some, right now, including this one.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm open. I've been because like on my way to my internship, I either listen to NPR or listen to the radio, like just music radio, or I just, play your podcast on my phone while I'm driving because LA traffic can take a while.
Well, thank you for that. But you're going to recommend another movie.
Yes.
Which is?
Happiness. It's a 1998 film by the director Todd Solondz. He also wrote the movie, and I think it's pretty great.
Well, I've heard that it's considered his best film. And are you bringing this up because his recent film, Wiener Dog, came out, right?
Yeah. So basically, to give some context, I haven't seen any his movies until about a month ago, and then I basically, with what I do, especially with directors who haven't done a lot of stuff, I like to go through their filmography, especially in preparation if they have like a new movie coming out. So I basically did that with him when Wiener Dog came out, and Happiness was the one that stood out. Happiness is like the one that I would definitely tell other people to go check out because it's pretty darn good.
So this is the only one you've seen of his so far?
Oh no, I've seen.
Or have you seen other ones?
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen them all. Okay.
Including
why is this one the best of the best?
I don't know if it's the best introduction to his filmography. I think Welcome to the Dollhouse is probably his most accessible movie. That's the one he did before Happiness. But Happiness, I think, is the one that even though I saw it like a month ago, I'm still thinking about it, you know. So, you know, I I realize when your sister decides to give you a recommendation, you're alone. So, and I always want to turn people on to new movies and such.
Sure.
So yeah, Happiness. Highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Big question I forgot to ask, but what is Happiness about?
I think Happiness is best described as a movie about three sisters and their lives and how they intersect with each other. It's easily his longest movie. I think it's like 2 hours, 20 minutes. So it's kind of an epic. It's got like a big ensemble cast.
And is it very depressing?
I think...
Which is what I've heard of his films.
Well, where did you hear this?
Well, I hear like just in general, all his films are kind of like downers. Like
I don't think
bad things
so.
happen to people. No?
I don't think so, because I think they do have a lot of comedic elements. I mean, Happiness is no different. And, yeah, I think the ending of Happiness is pretty optimistic. So, you know, that's another reason why I recommend this over some of his other movies. Like, well, let's just say some of his movies don't end on such a happy note.
All right. Interesting. Well, I will be watching that. And I heard, when Wiener Dog came out, I'm like, oh, I don't really know anything or don't know much about this guy or his work. So, yeah, I would. Perfect timing, I guess, to go see Happiness. So,
yeah, if you like
Cool.
Happiness, I recommend Wiener Dog, because I think Wiener Dog, if it's still playing in theaters, I know it was in theaters for maybe a couple weeks for San Diego, and then it went out. So I don't know how long, or if it's still playing where you live, but I recommend that if you like Happiness, and I recommend Welcome to the Dollhouse. Technically, I think all his movies have great stuff in it, but first check out Happiness.
okay. Well, I will for the show, as you recommended it.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
I know you want to
Thanks.
sleep, so yeah, go.
That's okay. I'm kind of all awake now from doing this recommendation.
Okay, all right. Well,
It's all good. It's all good.
enjoy Happiness.
Yes, thank you. I will. Yay. I'm tired. I'm trying to get excited. But maybe this movie will do it for me. It is called Happiness, so maybe it will make me happy. Who knows? Who knows anything? All I know is that what you should do is like our Facebook page at facebook.com/wheelhousecast. Follow us on Twitter at wheelhousecast. Subscribe to our feed on iTunes, where you can also rate and review us. And finally, if you want to send anything through electronic mail, there's a thing called email, which you can utilize. Once you get that email going, you address it to wheelhousecast@gmail.com. Send it, and then through the magic of the interwebs, you will get a response. I guarantee it. And now, it is time to sleep.